Lord, that we're here for a time to remember Lamont Barnes and to begin a time of reflecting and honoring his life and the way he meant to each and every one of us, his family. The song, Wash Me, kind of summarizes, clean my heart, fill my spirit. The word says that the Lord cleanse us as white as snow. We're going to have our Old Testament and New Testament scripture reading. We're going to ask Lauren and then followed by Jared to come up here and read the scripture text. Amen.
Surely our griefs he himself bore, and our sorrows he carried. Yet we ourselves esteemed him stricken, smitten of God and afflicted. But he was pierced through for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The chastening for our well-being fell upon him. And by his scourging we are healed. All of us like sheep have gone astray. Each of us has turned to his own way. But the Lord has caused the iniquity of us all to fall on him.
The reading is from Matthew 11, 20-30. Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you shall find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my load is light.
Amen. Amen. Blessings for the reading of the word. I have a poem written by First Lady Robin that was written by Christopher Shell. First Lady Robin will come up and bless us, and then followed by that, we're going to have Sharon to come and read the obituary for us. I hear a request coming from the
poem is called Bravely by Christopher Shell. Solitude, a dear friend, on this road taken solo, armed with the courage and comfort to see it my way. Embarked on a journey with allies in nature, I learn and grow with the trees, and the woods called my home. With love each moment cherished, filled with simple acts of generosity, and genuine gentle offerings coming straight from the heart. Remember the effort, an eager passion for learning, and a zeal for expression that carry me forward each day. Remember this road taken solo, and I know no doubt it's a choice to live in essence and in oneness with a love for my home. Yes, a love for this road. Do not pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult time.
Lamont Alfred Barnes was born June 6, 1954 to Alfred and Barbara Barnes in Baltimore, Maryland. He departed this world on February 7, 2017. Lamont was the oldest of 6 siblings, Arthur, Sharon, Anthony, Robin, and Monica. He attended Baltimore City Public Schools, but because of his mental illness, he spent many of his developmental years in and out of state-run mental facilities. During the 60s and 70s, there was very little help for people who suffered with schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, so Lamont made his own way. As a little boy, Lamont loved the Lorenzo Show. It was a show about a lovable tramp who did a dance called the Lorenzo Stomp. No one could Lorenzo stomp better than Lamont. He liked that Lorenzo carried all his worldly belongings in a scarf on the end of a long stick, so he emulated him. At times, he would pack up his scarf and stick and hop a boxcar to anywhere USA. His parents would have to go and get him from Philadelphia, Virginia, or wherever he was, even though he wasn't quite 10 years old. This behavior continued until he was an adult. He knew better than anyone else that he could not successfully live with others. Lamont loved the woods, streams, lakes, and the mountains. He preferred to live outside, so for most of his life, that is what he did. He lived free in the way that he wanted to live. Lamont sometimes made contact with family, and so his main contacts passed away or moved. His last correspondence was with his sister Sharon in 2003, thanking her for helping him acquire ID and letting him stay at her house for a few days. He was always grateful and always giving, and even though he didn't have much, he would try to give gifts on birthdays and Christmas. Lamont was loved by his family and will be greatly missed. He leaves behind his 5 siblings, his brother-in-law Donald, and his nieces, nephews, cousins, and friends.
We have a time of sharing reflections and memories and thoughts about the month.
All I'm doing is making fun, like crying. Lamont was my oldest brother, and he was like, to me, he liked to do karate, and he was in different karate clubs, and one minute he's loving, and the next minute he's gone. So he just was like any brother would be. He was there for you when he could be, and he'd get close to you, do little things for you. Like any of them, I love him, and I'll miss him. As much as I can tell you. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
But like Tony was saying, our brother Lamont, he couldn't be funny. Even though he suffered with mental illness, long before we knew anything about that, it was just always Lamont, Arthur, and Sharon. And people used to call us like that, Lamont, Arthur, Sharon. You know, we were like the 3 Musketeers. I was an honorary boy, because they made it that way. So I hung with them, and he was always, you know, he had us doing different things. When I think back on it, it's like the way we grew up back during that time. I mean, kids sort of just went off on their own, and nobody looked for them for hours. So we'd be gone for hours, and you know, just off in the woods, playing in the woods. He had a thing for boxcars. He would take us down to the railroad track. Just think about a 5, 6, and 7-year-old down on the railroad tracks. But anyway, he would say, "Come on, I don't know." That was something I would not do, you know. But he just had a thing about, you know, freedom and trains and things of that nature. And so he was my first playmate. And my first memory is of Lamont saying, "Run, run, run!" And we were running, and we hid down in the steps. He said, "You better run because the horse is going to get you." And I was like, "What?" You know, and I would still have that memory sometimes. And then one day I saw a picture of my brother Tony sitting on this pony. And I said to my mother, "How come Tony got a picture on the pony?" And she said, "Because y'all kept running away." And I was like, "Oh, that was the day we were running." It was a little pony. It was a little pony, but it was really funny because that was my first memory. And I have lots of memories of Lamont and fun times and different things that he taught us. One thing he taught us that if you said a bad word, you had to say, "God forgive me," 3 times. And then you could say it again. So you say, "God forgive me, God forgive me, God forgive me," and then you go back on the same bad words. It was different when you wrote it. I don't know why, but for some reason, if you would write it, you know, I think that it was really like damnation would come on you know, but it didn't matter because we couldn't spell. So we would write the words, and people thought we would just write an alphabet, I guess, because neither one of us could spell. So, but you know, thinking back on Lamont, even as we got older, he was always like, you could always find some fun with Lamont, you know. I never even thought about his mental illness when I would bring my friends over, because that was just Lamont. So either you dealt with it or not. He would tell you straight up how he felt about things. And I was telling Robin about the story when he first met Skip Dorsey, my children's father, my ex-husband, and he was telling me, you know, if a guy wears sandals and socks, that means he's gay. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So the doorbell rings. Skip said the door with sandals and socks. And he goes, "Told ya." So it was always like, you know, always something interesting. But I want to read this letter that he wrote to me. And after I found out he had passed, I was looking for pictures. So I went up in my closet and I was digging around for pictures, but I couldn't find any. So I had pulled the picture, one of my boxes out, and I was trying to push it back. And then this letter floated down from the ceiling, you know, in my closet, and I picked it up and turned it over, and it was a letter from Lamont. I had forgotten completely about it, didn't realize it was in the top of my closet, but it's dated 8/5/03, and it says, "Hey Sharon, I'm sorry for the delay. I kept sending the letter to the wrong address. I will try to get back with you as soon as I can. As soon as I can get the address and the zip code right." And I'm cleaning up a little bit because he kind of has, it's kind of choppy. "Right now I'm working hard, going to school and trying to stay out of the way of the police. There's always somebody gone around here." So the police, I guess, sort of pull those guys up. "The last time that I saw you, I was trying to get my ID, but it did not come. I thank you for the 5-day stay. I kept on calling Butch," that's my uncle who passed away, "but the ID card didn't show up at his address. I called the DMV from Virginia and the state of Maryland, and it came back. I gave them the wrong zip and the ID. If it comes back to the DMV and the state of Maryland, would you please pay the $40 to them if I want to get another ID from the state of Maryland?" And then he just says, "Thank you for all you done for me. I thank you, Sharon, for going to get you something for Mother's Day and the holidays. Thank you for the time I was up there. And that was the letter.
By the way, our father
Just with the
Oh, okay.
Hello, everybody. I have a lot of stories about Lamont growing up. This is my oldest brother. And so I'll tell one about, Michelle was talking about really kind of your earliest memories. I think my earliest memories of Lamont was going to the junkyard. And again, back in that time, we could just go for hours outside. Matter of fact, it was expected if you go outside and play, and you're not seen again until the lights came on. When the street lights came on, you had to be home. And so, in that span of time, that's like 10 hours plus. I mean, that's a lot of stuff you can do in 10 plus hours. And so, Arthur was really the person who was supposed to be babysitting me. That's a real loose term on that. So that was the brother after Lamont. So, and then they're a year apart. So, literally, me, Tony, Arthur, and Lamont, because they had to take me, we would go to the junkyard. And we would actually go through Druid Hill Park and stuff like that. I don't even know how we ended up that far away from home, but we did. And we would go to the junkyard. I don't know what they would bring home, but they would bring stuff back. And then there was like some water there. You know how sometimes there's like a reservoir of water that's runoff and stuff like that? We would go in the water sometimes, and we found out we weren't supposed to do that because they could actually, like a big vacuum that would drain the water periodically, and people would drown there. So we were just by God's grace spared. And then sometimes they would take me over to the swimming pool at Druid Hill Park. And the pool, it was a public pool. And of course, that's Arthur and Lamont and Tony should be watching me. The next thing I know, I'm in the pool and I couldn't swim. So that's how I virtually learned to swim. Just hanging out with them, and it was just freedom. It's just free fall. And we had to develop a little tough skin to hang out with them. But they were really looking out for me. They weren't going to let anybody hurt me. But it was just this freedom of going and doing and being. And Arthur he would tinkle with things, and so he would bring home different things from the junkyard and put things together and take apart my mom's stereo set, which was back in the day, that was a big deal to have a nice stereo. And so we just had a lot of freedom. The other thing Lamont would do was start fights in the neighborhood. And so they would always have a beef going with somebody in the neighborhood, and we lived on Abington, which was like a little across the street and up a few doors from my grandmother's house. They would start fights. And then one day I was walking up the street, and the people who had a beef with my brothers decided to pick on me. And so I was in the middle of it somehow, and when the person picked up the stick to hit toward them, they ducked, and I got hit, but it had a nail on it, and it went right in my head and stuck there. And of course my brothers pulled the stick out, and they're like, wow, it's bleeding. They put a Band-Aid on it, and we go home. My mother comes home from work and realizes what had happened. I'm not sure which one of them finally told the truth. And then that proceeded to take me to the ER, and I had all these tetanus shots and all this madness ensued. So that's the kind of stuff that we did growing up. I mean, it was just freedom. They used to go up in the garage that were behind, over in Abington. They had some garages in the back because people didn't have garages up to their homes. And we would jump off the top onto a mattress because we thought we could, they had these sneakers that you could run like whatever flop. Yeah. So we were trying to jump, and so all the boys jumped off and they were fine. But it was my turn. I was way on top of the roof and I was scared to jump down. So they had to go get my Uncle Butch to come get me. He coaxed me to jump into his arms. So he saved me. So those are the kind of things we did growing up. When you look back on it, I think those actually prepared us for life. When you think about it, just being able to have some independence and to actually problem solve, is what we call it. Problem solve a little bit. But we had a lot of fun growing up, and I think at that time things were a little more free until we had, of course, the tragedy in our neighborhood in Abington where persons died, and so things changed at that point. But we really, I enjoyed hanging out with my brothers for a while. The other thing I remember about Lamont was he had moved to Fredericksburg, in that area, Spotsylvania, and we had gathered up the family to go visit him, and we drove down to Fredericksburg to be Don and the kids to go visit him. He was staying in a shelter. And by the time we got there, he had gotten kicked out for disobeying the rules. So they didn't know where he was. We couldn't find him. And so we drove back. And I didn't talk to him for maybe a couple weeks later. He explained to me that he got in trouble for using the washer and dryer after the hours that he was supposed to, so they kicked him out. And I thought back on it, I said he was probably trying to get clean so we could come visit him. More than likely. But, it was one of those sad situations. We really tried to, whatever we could talk to him, we tried to follow up and talk with him. And then another time he was in the D.C. area because he had gotten burned. And they had brought him to the burn unit at Washington Hospital Center. And when he was coming out, we were trying to help him find a place to stay, and he did. But it didn't make it very long there because he got into an altercation with another guy because they were competing to get cigarettes from people off the street. And so Lamont got in trouble. They put him in St. Elizabeth. And I had an opportunity to go visit him there. And I really had a burden about sharing the gospel with him at that time. And so while I was there, I really began, I went down the Romans Road with him, and I shared the gospel with him, and I asked him, did he want to receive the Lord as a Savior? And right when he was prepared to accept the Lord as a Savior, he had been saying to me he had an allergic reaction to medication, and no one would ever, listen to him. His tongue literally got swollen and like was coming out of his mouth. He couldn't talk. I really felt there was a lot of spiritual warfare when that was going on, so I was able to run and get help and insisted they give him something to counteract it. And once we got that together, I was able to finish sharing the gospel with him, and he did accept Christ at that time. And I'm just so glad I went to visit him and to have that time. But I just feel like that's indicative of his life, a lot of spiritual warfare going on in his life, a lot of obstacles trying to keep him from Christ. But I do believe that he did know the Lord. I believe he loved the Lord. But I also believe he had a struggle, and he understood himself, and he understood that he could not be in a huge city around a lot of things, and he needed to be in a smaller environment. But I really enjoyed the last times that I talked to him. He loved nature. Wow. He could describe nature and make you feel like you were there with him. It was amazing. And I really began to see him differently. And just really began to understand him as a person. And I wish that we had better mental health care for him as a child. I think he would have had a whole different outcome in life. And we had better systems in place. But I love him. He's my brother. And people came around. We always tell our friends, hey, my brother's gonna talk a lot, he's gonna tell a lot of stories, none of them are true. And people just began to accept him and knew he was my brother, and they liked him. A lot of people would say, I like your brother, he's a lot of fun. And that's it. So despite the turbulence that we had at times because of mental health and medication and things like that, I actually choose to focus on the positive in his life, and he had a lot of positive in his life. And I just wish that I had more pictures to share with him later in life, because I'd like to know what he looked like in the last 2 years. But I'm just thankful that the family were together now to just honor him and who he was. So, I love my stories.
Any other thoughts, memories, reflections?
I didn't really know Uncle Lamont that well. Like, I would always hear about him, of course, you know, at the time I was born and stuff. You know, he was already an adult, like, but I do remember, and Uncle Lamont, my grandfather, who passed away now, and Uncle Alfred, I don't know if someone was on the porch, but they were on the porch. So our friends said, they were like, like one of Angel's friends, my sister's friend was like, you know, we saw some white hillbillies on your porch. Because all of them were high yellow and and that's actually, I think that is the only time I really remember seeing him and being like, finally, you know, like I remember seeing him and being like, and I think that's the only time I remember ever seeing him. So I don't remember that much, but I believe I do remember that time that he came around. And I just thought that was interesting. I didn't really get the whole thing. He wasn't really like that talkative or anything like that. But that's what I remember. I remember they all looked alike, and I guess apparently to some people they must look like some like hillbillies on my porch. That's my memory. Wow. So I think of my siblings and cousins, I'm probably the only one that really remembers Uncle Lamont because I'm the oldest. And I do remember that day. And but I remember, you know, as I was younger, and I guess at one point he was staying with my grandfather. That I would see him there when we go by there sometimes, and he would be there. And then I remember one time he was staying with grandma for a little bit of time, and I would see him there. And I don't really remember, you know, because I was little, like knowing that he had a mental illness or anything like that. You know, I just remember that he would be there. And then I remember it was a period of time where, you know, I didn't see him at all. And I remember that day that my sister was referring to because I was outside and he just walked up. And, like, I don't know, you know, how he knew where we were or, you know, I guess he had been in touch, but he just walked up and it seemed like he just came out of nowhere. But I know he remembered who I was. And it was almost like when he saw me, it was almost like he just like had never been gone. Like he just kind of walked up and was just like, you know, asked if my mother was there and, you know, asked where my father was and said, you know, how's Skip doing? And I said, well, you know, he lives away. And he said something like smart mouth, like, you know, that he should stay there or something like that. And you know, we just had like just a regular conversation, and then I know my grandfather at that time was staying at our house, and Uncle Arthur was there for whatever reason. And I just remember that day they stayed out on the porch and talked for, you know, a long time. But it was just, you know, to me it was like
Uncle Lamont, I remember thinking that he was funny because I remember, seeing him throughout the years and he would make like little comments like that that I always thought were funny when I was little. And so it was just nice that, he was able to come back and it was kind of like, time to back.
Too young. I was too young too. Well, amen. Just a couple of brief thoughts and reflections. With Lamont, my own memories of Lamont from what Robin described. By the time Robin and I got married, Lamont wasn't around that much. And so, just the experiences that Robin shared, I don't have much to add to that at all. I will tell you about the hillbilly comment that since Arthur's not here, so Arthur, if you get to see this thing, then as an outsider kind of coming into the Barnes family. So yes, your father and Tony and Arthur and Lamont, I didn't see as much. They kind of all look a little bit alike. And then if you want to get an idea of the uniqueness of the Barnes men, is Arthur carrying that guitar. And now I'm from Queens. In Queens, we didn't walk around with guitars strung over our shoulders. So it's just a little bit different, and then Arthur would kind of just take that guitar and just pop his foot up on something. And I said, what? Going on? I'm like, they're from Baltimore? Like in Baltimore, the brothers walk around with guitars. And then Robin said, no, Arthur really like Jimi Hendrix, and he was really like in the guitar stuff. I said, okay. I got it. But nice, I love my brothers. And also, I don't know if I told this story before about the unique, but with your father, when Robin and I decided we were going to get married, and your father and your grandfather was going to come to the wedding, and Robin said, we'll go with him to pick a tuxedo. It's just a little bit in the different stuff, right? So I went with him to the tuxedo shop. So we went in the tuxedo store, and they had tuxedos all around the store. And this was in 88, 89, somewhere around. I know when we got married, but 88, 89. And so things were still stylish back in the 80s. The 80s had its own style. And so your father and your grandfather, we go in the tuxedo shop, and there's all these currently stylish tuxedos hanging in the tuxedo store. There was one rack that had powder blue, it had like a red tuxedo and ruffled shirts. So we walk in the store, and I had maybe met your father maybe once before. We walk in the store, all the nice tuxedos over here, one little rack of powder blue ruffled shirt, and he just said, I said, no. I said, I'm sorry, sir. I just met you, but you have to pick from these tuxedos. You can't come to the wedding in one of those. And for a young man getting ready to marry somebody's daughter, you really don't want to tell her father what to do. But I said, no, I'm sorry. I know y'all a little different than I am, but powder blue tuxedo with the ruffled shirt is not being worn in 1989 coming to the wedding. So the Barnes men, I love them to death. It was a little different than I was accustomed to, but it's good to be different. And what I take away from Lamont and from your dad and your granddad, it's you conform to what you feel like you want to be. And there is no one typical black man, because we are a function of our experiences, where we grew up, what music you listen to, who your friends are, and there is no one stereotypical way to describe a black man. And as I think about and reflect on Lamont with the memories that have been had, and I think about the word freedom is the word that came to mind. The word freedom is the word that Chris was led to put in the poem, and it was said a couple of times about Lamont kind of doing things his own way and not being able to conform to society or what society expects you to do. If you add mental illness to it, like schizophrenia and other things, then it makes it even more challenging to conform to what society says. So I saw a statement, and I didn't create it on my own. I saw a statement online, and I was thinking about wilderness, and I was thinking about freedom, and I saw a statement that was written that said, life in the wilderness is like parking in a parking lot with no lines. So for those of you who drive, for those of you who ride in cars, you go to a parking lot, and most parking lots have lines in them, so you know where to park your car. And sometimes if it's a crowded parking lot and some nincompoop has taken up 2 spots because they parked over the line, and when you really need a spot, you have a couple of choice thoughts and words for the person that's taken up 2 spots, or the person that's kind of parked sideways when the spot is this way, they're going over the line. We expect people to fit within the lines, whether it's a parking space or whether it's in society. And it does not seem like Lamont did very well fitting within the lines of what was expected in society. The issue with the washing machine and selling cigarettes and other things. And I don't have the other memories about Lamont, but I don't think that we all have to be kept in bondage for parking inside the lines all the time. I don't think we always have to conform, and it's difficult in our society to make it when you don't get the butt time in the seat. You don't sit down as long as people tell you to sit down. You're not quiet when people tell you to be quiet. You have to dot the I and write A before B and then C. Life doesn't always exist in that way. And what I take away from Lamont is that the ability to be free and the ability to be able to exist in a space and in a time and walk to the beat of your own drum. The limited conversations there were with the authorities down in Spotsylvania and about just him making his own place. He had built and constructed a place where he lived in the wilderness in Spotsylvania. And that's where he was located. But to think about the amount of time that you spend and that I spend going to school, going to work, coming home, picking up kids, just the routine and the regimen of life that we go through. You got to be at work at a certain time, school at a certain time, camp at a certain time. You got to get the bus and the train at a certain time. If you want to miss the traffic, you got to get on the highway at a certain time. And so just the regimen of life. The thought comes to mind about how nice it would be to be able to go to a place in the wilderness. You make your place, you have your schedule, and you spend time with yourself and your thoughts and prayerfully with your God. And that you're able to come and go as you please and not be on the clock, to have to fit to everything else in society. I remember and was happy when Lamont, with Robert, expressed his desire to have a relationship with Christ, because all of us want to be free from a lot of the difficulties we have in life. But even in his Lamont's desire to be free and to live his life in the manner that he wanted to live it, he still wanted to be connected to Christ. And so the freedom that we enjoy only goes but so far. And one verse I'll share with you. It says it was for freedom, Galatians chapter 5, verse 1. It says it was for freedom that Christ set us free. keep standing firm and do not be subject again to the yoke of slavery. We can be free in this society, not to conform to what people expect you to do, whether it's for fun, whether it's for leisure, whether it's thinking that in order for you to fit in, you have to live your life in a certain way. Christ died on the cross for each and every one of us to be free of the confines of a society that will attempt to label you and telling you what you have to do in order to fit in this society. You don't have to fit in, because Christ died on the cross to give us the freedom, to give us the Spirit, the Holy Spirit inside of us, so that you can be comfortable and content in yourself. So when you build your place in your wilderness, you can exist there even if you have to be there all by yourself. Lamont had $1. He had about 4 or 5 coins, a lighter, and a lock. And those were his possessions. And so to think about what would I do if I only had $1? If I had to go out in the wilderness and make a place to live. If I had to go there and be content in myself. And maybe the day will come when each and every one of us can get that place of solitude and a place of contentment and a place to say, you know what? I'm okay by myself. I'm okay with my thoughts. I'm okay with my identity. I'm okay with my look. I'm okay with the time that I don't have to be somewhere at 9 or 10 o'clock. I think Lamont was on the extreme of that, just saying, you know what? I'll make my place. I'll spend my time. And I'm happy. And I ain't going to be medicated. I'm not going to be drowsy, medicated. I'm not going to do what anybody tells me to do, to have to conform in a shelter, in any kind of home, in any building. I'm going to make my place, live my life in my way, in my time. And I think he was happy and content in that. He wasn't knocking on doors all the time. Can I stay? Can I stay? Can I stay? Can I come? You got this, you got $1, you got 5. That's not what I hear. Touch base every now and then gone. And then living his life, doing things his own way. And I would imagine content and happy in his skin. And I pray that each and every one of us will be able to understand that God has prepared a place for each and every one of us. Lamont now is in heaven with the Lord. The remains we have here before us are just that. They're earthly remains. And the Bible says, from dust we come, and from dust we will, the dirt we will return. But the most important thing is that he is free of this earth, but he is connected to the Father through the shed blood of Jesus Christ that was shed for him on Calvary. And for that, I say, praise the Lord, that he is no more suffering, no more pain, no more discomfort. But I pray that each and every one of us will take away from him that God called us to freedom. Freedom to live as citizens of heaven through Christ's shed blood on Calvary. And the Bible says that if you are a citizen in heaven, then you don't have to be conformed to this earth. Because doing everything that this earth tells you to do will sometimes put you in a conflict with God. But I pray that we'll all reflect on Lamont and the freedom that he had from having to do what everyone else does when everyone else does it in the way that everyone else does their thing. Be your person. Connect to God through Jesus Christ and live your life in peace and contentment without the need for substances or people to validate you or to make you feel like you're of some value, and be happy in your space. And be happy in the wilderness that God places you in. Because God meets his people in the wilderness. And he'll speak to you and lead you and guide you. Amen? Let's, I know we have something else you want to do afterwards, Robin, and the balloons afterwards. We do also have, Robin, do you want me to read this, or you want to share with everyone? So this you can come up and read afterwards. This says, in memory of Lamont A. Barnes, 10 trees will be planted by the Arbor Day Foundation in Chippewa National Forest. This memorial was sent by the Shell family with thoughts of comfort and peace during your time of sorrow. The trees will be a living monument to your love. And so it says, if you seek my moment, a quote from J. Sterling Morton, if you seek my monument, look around you, from the Arbor Day Foundation. We also want to thank our church family here at Good Samaritan Mission Church for providing the plant that is before you. But we also want to just recognize and thank all of you for coming to be with us today. We are going to have some balloons that First Lady Robin has. Robin can tell us how you want to do the balloons, and Nayo has balloons. Amen. Balloons are outside in a confined space. We'll start releasing with the young people. I'll start with the youngest one. So let me close this out with a word of prayer, and then we'll go forward to releasing the balloons. Father, we just thank you for your grace and your mercy. Father, we thank you that we know from your word that is for freedom that you came to earth in the form of a man, and that man's name is Jesus Christ. And Father God, we thank you that you've given us the ability to be alive with you, connected to you through Christ's shed blood on Calvary. And Father God, that you free us from the bondage of this earth and this world. Lord Jesus, we thank you for the life of Lamont Barnes. Father God, we thank you for giving us the opportunity to come together to remember him today. Father, I pray that the ongoing memory of Lamont will give us the reminder of his desire to know you and to connect with you. And Father God, that he was able to pick and choose from whom and when he would connect to people in this world. And the comfort that he had, dear Father God, in being with himself and making his own place, dear Father. Lord, I pray that each and every one of us that is here, and our homes that are here, and for our loved ones that could not be here today, for Arthur, dear Father God, and Chris, dear Lord Jesus, and for all of the spouses and husbands and friends that are not here, dear Father, for Steve, dear Lord. Father, we just thank you and pray that our homes will be blessed, and that, Father God, that we might be able to live in the moment that you have created for us. And Father, we find ourselves in a wilderness location with no one else around. Father, that we'll look to you, look to your creation, look to the stars in heaven, look to the moon, look to the sun, dear Lord, look to the trees, look to the earth, listen to the birds, feel the wind blowing, dear Father, because you can speak to us through your creation. And Father, I pray that as you led your people in the wilderness by a fire at night and clouds in the day, that Father, that you would lead each and every one of us to the place of peace and contentment with you. And then allow us to sprinkle in and to add in people, places, and things that glorify you and that strengthen us and that build us up. Separate us from those things, Father God, that are not of you, that lead us to do things that are not of you and that draw us away from you. But Father God, we thank you for who you are. Pray that you bless Sharon's home, dear Lord Jesus, and those who are in it. Father God, bless our home, dear Lord Jesus. And thank you for Tony being here, dear Father God, and for Arthur here remotely, dear Lord. And Lord, we thank you for who you are and what you've done. We magnify your name, and we thank you for Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. Father God, we thank you and we love you. It's in the magnificent name of Jesus Christ, we all say, amen. Amen. Praise the Lord. Robin and I will lead us out to releasing him our balloons. Amen.